All right. Well, we want to thank everyone for joining us today. At BMT, looking forward, we believe investments in technology that allow staff to transition seamlessly from working in the office to remotely and then back are key. We call this strategy flexible IT and believe there's 5 pillars that support that effort. Today, we'll be reviewing RingCentral's offering, which we feel applies to both remote and teamwork categories. BMT, we use RingCentral service ourselves. We believe it's very important for our clients to be able to call us on the phone when they've got an issue that's happening, reach a live person that can assist them immediately. So phones have always been an important part of our service strategy. And we moved to the RingCentral platform several years ago. We've been nothing but thrilled with the service. It's been rock solid for those 3 years. And it's been a key part of our work from home efforts. When the stay-at-home orders came, all of our staff picked up their equipment, moved it home, and were able to take and make calls, either using the RingCentral app on their PC or using the app on their cell phone, for example. So we're thrilled to now be a partner with RingCentral and bring that kind of solution to all of our clients. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Steve, who'll go over more.
Thanks, Stu. Appreciate that. And again, thank you everybody for jumping on today. I just want to share with you over the next 20, 30 minutes, just a little bit about some of the solutions here at RingCentral are essential, especially, we don't need to talk about what's going on today in the new normal and how we have a lot of businesses now thinking, the old brick and mortar might not be the way of the future. So how are we going to become more mobile? And how are we going to make that transition seamless? When everything had started, I can tell you that I began at RingCentral personally on March 16th. I'm kind of a walking, living example of the simple solution of going from an office to a mobile work-at-home workforce. I was 16 years in telecommunications before I came over to RingCentral in an office, old PBX systems, the whole deal. I got hired here to be a trainer, as what I was doing before. And my first day was actually just getting a laptop handed to me and sent home. So I'll talk a little bit about that experience because there was a little trepidation there, some nerve, starting with a new company and also having to go set up from home and make this transition. But it was very easy. We'll talk about that ease of use. And I was very impressed with the solution and how it's allowed me to do my job, feel the culture of this company, and be productive. So again, I thank you for being here today. If you have any questions as we go through, feel free to use that Q&A pod. There's an icon there. You can just click on that. We have some folks on from RingCentral as well, so we can answer those questions as we go. And hopefully at the end, maybe we can have an opportunity, if anyone has any other questions, to come off mute and have a little bit of a discussion. You do actually, there's an old saying that there's no such thing as a free lunch. Today, that's not true, because just for attending the call, and again, appreciating your time, we're going to make sure that we get out a $25 Grubhub gift card to everybody. So we'll get that to you, and you can go ahead and get that free lunch on us at BMT. So thank you for that. And as I go through this as well, I really want you to focus in on this, obviously, and pick up a few things and really pique your interest so you can go back and have those discussions with Susan and Stu from BMT about further information. So I might have a couple questions as we move through and play a little game show, give away a little bit of money as well. That money, just to let you know, is going to come from Tango Visa gift card. So if you do answer the question and you're the fortunate one to get that money, that email will come from Tango. So make sure that you look for that. It's usually within 48 hours or so. And sometimes it does come into your spam box. So make sure that you're aware of that. But if you don't receive that in a few days, if you're the winner, just circle back with Susan and Stu, and we'll make sure we get that to you. All right, so let's talk about the mobile workforce, that solution and that transition, and what business leaders really need to start thinking about and focusing on. And again, I think my story is a pretty prime example of today and things that we need to do as businesses when we're making that workforce and making it easy and stress-free for our employees. I want to start with just a couple of impactful stats here that comes from us, from Gartner Analytics, who are very big in our industry, in the cloud-based industry, as far as just looking at various solutions and how well companies do. And to me, on the right-hand side, if you focus there, pretty impactful numbers. And as we mentioned before, with everything that's happening today and that transition that we're making, you can see that 41% of employees are likely to work remotely post what's happening right now. That could have increased actually since this was taken. But the next two are the two stats that I really speak to, the way that business is moving from that brick and mortar to the mobile workforce. 74% of CEOs intend to shift employees, and 85% of businesses confirm that employees are more productive at home. Right? So the ability to manage our time as adults and the ability to have a work-life balance and still be able to do the jobs that we need to do. This to me is an astounding stat as well that I read when I first saw this was by 2021, 90% of IT leaders are going to go to a cloud-based solution, up from 50% today. So again, away from kind of the PBX, the old infrastructures, the servers, into a solution that'll allow their employees to use all the various functions, features, portals, great reporting and analytics that come with the cloud, and very easy to manage as well. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I know when this first started, a lot of people were asking themselves the questions, how can we ride this out? What can we do just to get through what's happening? And now that kind of thought process is, okay, what do we need to do to make that transition into kind of a new workforce? This slide used to actually say employees want to communicate anywhere in any mode on any device, but now it's definitely become a need for what's happening. It's the way that we communicate, we stay collaborative with each other. And I'm going to talk about a little bit more of the collaboration that we have using our RingCentral office and specifically our application. That anywhere, any mode on any device, I can't preach that enough as far as kind of a mantra that we have here, the ability to do that with a cloud-based service. I've had a solutions engineer, when I was going through training, talk about taking a webinar from a plane because the plane had good Wi-Fi and they're actually able to get on a live meeting with their headset before the pandemic started, which I thought was amazing. I've seen someone pull over in their car because a trainer, like myself, couldn't attend the call. Someone could do it. They pulled over and they switched over to their laptop and actually delivered at a park a training. So that ability to be anywhere and be productive is so important with businesses today. And the last thing I want to really talk about before we get into more of our solutions is, again, I've already said it a few times, it's thinking about how we imagine the way we do business today and knowing that that transition is happening. Any device, any mode, anywhere. Again, I can't say that enough. Those three N's are really things that we focus on. But thinking about my example and how easy it is to use and to manage, I'm somewhat techie. I don't consider myself a tech expert by any means. I know enough just to be dangerous, but I was able to get up and running in 4 hours without an IT department, just from the different blogs and information and easy links that I was given to plug and play, so that I was able to use my phone, I was able to be on video, and I was able to message as well. And that's something I want to share with you when we get to the application, some of those things and how easy they are to do. Hey, this is what I want to do. Before we get into our next section here, I have some cash burning in the pocket, so I'd like to give away $50 if that's okay with everybody. And this is how we're going to do it. If you can use the chat pod, and if you can put in there the first person to give me the 3 N's that I had mentioned that are essential to RingCentral, I'm going to send $50 your way through the Tango Visa gift card. You can say the 3 things that we have focused on here, RingCentral, with the N's. And I'm going to ask Mike, if you don't mind, or Emily, to kind of check out, see if anybody's putting the answer in there for me.
Yep, I'm on it.
So there were 3 N's. And Emily, you let me know if they come in here.
Yep, I have not seen anything yet.
Okay. So I'll give them to you, and we'll roll that money over to the next question. Any device, any mode, anywhere. And 3 things that are very important to us here when we think about the remote workforce. So let's roll that 50 over. There's going to be another question coming soon. And hey, we'll make that one a $100 question. That'll be awesome. So let's talk about businesses and things we need to consider. And again, I go back to my own example because I just think it's very similar to a lot of companies making the transition and thinking about what their employees are going to need to be successful working through UCaaS cloud-based solution and having everything that they're going to need. So we're going to look at some of just the hardware from working from home. We want to make sure that we have a continuous communication with our clients, with our customers. And that last bullet is so essential, making sure that we have a stress-free environment for our employees to make it easy for them to do business as well. So the first thing here that I want to look at, just some basics. This is really the laundry list. And this was something that I was asked when I first moved to home. It's like, what does my internet service look like? What does my bandwidth look like currently? What software do I currently like to use? What hardware do I have? Do I have a monitor at home? Do I need a mouse? Some of those basic things that companies need to consider, like everything you would have in your desk, how do we make that transition to make sure that we get that from home as well? Another thing that I can tell you that's been so beneficial for me, and I think for a lot of people working mobily, is the companies that continue to reach back with surveys and the peers that are helping, but what don't you have? What will help you be more productive? So making sure that we're staying in contact with our employees at home as well. Again, we can do all this mobily with the cloud, with our Office solution, which I'm going to share with you, how we can make this communication happen. And more importantly, how a company can maintain its culture. And that's what this slide really does, is talk to things that companies can do going from brick and mortar into the mobile workforce solution. How do we maintain that company feel that we might have had around, the water cooler or in the break room, events that we might have done together. We can still do that with different types of communication through the cloud, which we'll look at here in a minute. So I can tell you, for me, myself, again, a lot of video. We've done a lot of virtual parties, happy hours, games, things like that. So I could get to know my work team and my peers as I started here at RingCentral and really make me feel part of this company as well. I feel like, I was looking forward to that, going into an office and seeing people every day, but I haven't really lost that feel now that I'm working from home because of what RC app has done for me and other solutions. Last thing I talked about this already, the simplicity of the setup process. This is just an example of what helped me, just some of the references here on the screen and some of those links. And again, I always had the ability to also reach out to people at RingCentral. You have your partner at BMT that's right there with you every step of the way to help you with this, to give you all the information that's available, to provide you with trainings, with setups, and everything that you will have. If there's things that you want a deeper dive on, like the application that we're just going to look at here in a second, and you want to get a live demo, we work with companies out there and our partners like BMT. We partner up with them and get a solutions engineer on to really will walk you through step by steps, a lot of things that you can do to make sure that it's easy and seamless for our customers on the front line. All right, I mentioned any device, any mode, and anywhere earlier. This is another big one for us. So MVP, obviously in a sports sense, might have a different meaning to it. But for us, message, video, and phone, and this is a big differentiator from RingCentral and what makes it easy to do business with us, as BMT mentioned earlier, and Stu, is what we provide. It's an all-in-one. So you don't have to go to a different subscription for video chat. You don't have to use a different subscription for messaging. You can even save a ton on phone as well. And hey, I can attest to this, going from a cellular company now using a cloud-based system. I don't really, in fact, my coverage is fantastic. And I had a call the other day with people up in northern Canada and other areas of the northern part of the country who said they actually get better coverage as long as they had a good internet in their house with their phone using RingCentral. And the clarity of the call as well is fantastic. There's a lot of different things you can do as far as moving your phone number over, more than one phone number, working with our our contact center, which I'll show you as well. So there's a lot of capability when it comes to our phone. All right, this is MVP again in message, video, phone, and this is really where it comes into play. So this, for me, has been the bread and butter of doing business. So this is a screenshot here of what our RC app looks like. And with RC app, you have the ability to do the message, the phone, and video really from one location, which is awesome, and from any device as well. So I'm going to give you a little tour of some of the functionalities within this application and how it works, and share some stories about how people have been able to transition. So let's start first of all with the tour. And looking at the left-hand side, the first thing you're going to notice is just the list of names there. So that's my contact list. So for us, we call our messaging GLIP. So if you hear the term GLIP, it's an instant message that we use. And I can talk with anyone within the company and also those outside the company. I can actually invite them in to my instant messaging, even if they're not currently holding a license with RingCentral, which is great. So I can do, I talked with Emily this morning. I talked with Mike a little bit this morning without having to set up any kind of calls. And the great thing about this is I can also set up work groups. So if I want to work on a project, I can set up various work groups that we can continue to just message through by using GLIP. One thing that I noticed right away was that GLIP replaced my need for email. And one of the biggest advantages of it was that GLIP doesn't have a file size as far as limitation on things you can send. But I can send a deck that has video in it, or a lot of videos or pictures. And instead of clogging up someone's Outlook or Gmail with the file size, I can just send it via GLIP, and I don't have any restrictions to that. So that's been a fantastic feature from my experience. Another thing is, along with the messaging, if you notice there's green and then there's kind of a gray dot, those are just presence reminders. So I can show people, for instance, right now, I am in a meeting and I will show red. So people within my company or anybody else that needs to GLIP me will understand that I won't respond right away, but the message is still going to go through. So as soon as I'm done, I can go back and retrieve that message. So what's also really nice about this, if you notice on the left, it says easily switch between message, video, phone from a single place. So let's say all of us right now are currently on GLIP and we're working on a project and we're chatting, and I say, hey, you know what, everyone, I think it'll be beneficial if we can just get on face-to-face and have a conversation. I can just click on the video and immediately I can send that invite out to everyone to receive, to get on a video chat without having to hang up, organize a new link, go into whatever service I'm using to send a link out for that particular video chat system. I can just do it as we're talking within our group itself. Same thing with the phone. So I'm talking with Emily this morning and we're chatting. I said, Emily, I'm a little confused on this. Can we talk? I can just click on the phone button and it immediately is going through our cloud and I'm calling Emily and we're having a verbal conversation. So pretty awesome that I have that ability to make that switch instantaneously right from the application. Another really cool feature about this, and again, if you want more information or a demo, we can get an engineer to actually show this as well. You can reach back to Susan and Stu at BMT. But another thing that's really beneficial about this is that ability to switch devices. So let's say I am somewhere right now and I am having the conversation on my laptop with somebody, but I forgot, hey, I got to go pick up the kids. It's about a 20-minute drive. I don't want to hang up. I don't want to have to recall. I can just click and switch to a different device, to my cell phone, to my smartphone, and then instantly the conversation now is on my smartphone, and I can take it in my car and hook it up to my Bluetooth and continue that conversation. So pretty cool that you have the ability to do that. Even if I want to say, hey, let me walk around the house and show you something, I can switch it to my to video in the smartphone, and now I'm mobile with something that's a little smaller and less clunky in my laptop. So just really cool things that allow you that mobility, and most important, just the collaboration that can be done through this. And it is very easy. So from my experience, again, I was using our RC app and GLIP within 4 hours of being hired within the company 5-6 months ago, and already meeting my teammates and coworkers and having those virtual and video conversations. Pretty awesome. So I had mentioned before the file size. The last thing I do want to just talk about here is the integration of applications. So Our RC app works with, it's an open platform. So currently, I believe we're at about 3,000 certified applications that we work with. So if you use Salesforce, Dropbox, Outlook, Google, Office, all those various applications you can integrate here, which makes it easy for you to find things instead of having to jump around on your devices to go from application to application. You can integrate everything into here. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. That was a mouthful right there, and I still have a little bit more money to give away. So let me pause and ask you this question here, and we'll make this a $100 question. So this is a big money question, everybody. So Emily or Mike, if you can help me out with the answer on this one.
Yep.
What does MVP stand for?
Okay, Barbara Herbert, message, video, phone. Perfect. You were the first one. Anthony, you were so close in second place, but I bet you'll get the next one. So great job, Barbara. You'll have that $100 Visa gift card coming from Tango in the next few days. Awesome.
Appreciate that. Good job, Barbara. And Anthony, we're going to have one more question for you. So keep those fingers ready and fast fingers and information win the big money on this one. All right. This screen right here, everyone, I just mentioned this. It says 2,000, but we have actually upped the custom integrations. I just wanted to give you a visual of various applications that the RingCentral office works with in that application. And again, I think the key message with that is just the ability to consolidate everything into one space, and the differentiator being able to do message, phone, and video from one application really makes that collaboration and doing business easy. There's a lot of information here on this slide, and for whatever vertical you're in and whatever business you're in, this is really just showing you some of the things that you can get from UCaaS and a cloud-based solution for each department that you have. So I'm not going to go through it and read every bullet, but whatever pertains to you, from sales down to engineering, pro services, you can see some of the common uses that is provided by using UCaaS in the cloud and some of the benefits of it. You know, as I have read through this for myself, the thing that always just keeps coming up over and over and over is the shortened time frame, the ability to collaborate easily, and things actually, business can be done quicker. That's really one of the big benefits from using the cloud. I had mentioned this earlier when I gave you a kind of that tour of our application. This is a visual of it for you and an example of how, you know, a lot of companies, when this transition is first started to happen with everything that's going on, people had to move fast. And a lot of times you didn't have an opportunity to put a lot of thought process into how we're going to make that transition, so you can kind of patchwork everything that you're going to need. When we have our phone carrier to now we have the company where we need messaging or video, and you're paying on various different subscriptions. Sometimes that's hard to manage too from a financial standpoint, an accounting standpoint, and that's just one of the benefits of having message, phone, video all in one, and that ability to just consolidate those bills and save the company money in the long run. Now, if I already had the opportunity to spend more time with everyone and talk about the businesses that you support and the size of your companies from small, medium to large, I will tell you that the solution works for all size, from 5 employees to 5,000 employees. But one of the things that we have as well is our contact center. And this screen right here is really speaking to some of the things that we can do from our CCaaS cloud-based solution, which works with companies that, you know, are currently have a call center, a contact center, and they have a concern about that customer experience without having employees in a call center and working remotely. How is that going to work? Again, this is a really good demonstration. If this is something that you are interested in, to have a solutions engineer come on to talk about contact center. What I will tell you is that the nice thing about our CCaaS and contact center solution are the different options that it allows customers to contact businesses. Whether it's still be over the phone, I know I like to stay on hold. Maybe that's just the sign of my time and my age, or if it's through an application messaging, if it's through website chat, if it's leaving the number and having a call back. It's very omni-channel kind of the setup of it to allow customers various ways to get into contact with companies with the contact center. And another thing that's fantastic about this as well is the reporting that's drawn out of this. So if you do a demo with an engineer on the contact center, one of the things they can show you is how to really specialize and personalize the type of reporting you want to get from when your customers are calling, the topics they're calling about, how long they're on hold, routing certain calls to certain people immediately based on the information that they're trying to get. So there's a lot of great reporting that can be done as well. So if it's something that interests you with a contact center, I would encourage you to circle back with BMT and talk further with Susan and Stu about that. All right, I have another question here that I want to ask for $50 before I talk about security. So let's go back and think about your memory a little bit and think back to the application that we looked at. I gave you that tour of RC app. And this is really kind of an open question, so it might not be, there's really not a wrong answer to this, but I want to know from the things I discussed with you and talked about as far as what that application can do, what's something that you would find very beneficial to your business in the RC application? So Emily, I'm going to throw it back to you to see who answers first on this one as well.
And we got one. Anthony Carullo said internal communication. That's a great answer.
There you go, Anthony. Good way to go. So this time you went from second to first, and we'll get $50 out to you from Tango as well. And absolutely, that app is all about internal communication. So fantastic. Security. Again, this is another engineer demonstration. If security is something for your vertical that you want to go a little bit deeper on, I just want to share with you on this slide right here what we're looking at. The top 3 banners. You'll notice RingCentral is going to be the last company named on that third banner. Everyone else are companies that we work with to make sure that your data is encrypted and safe, and you're getting the most secure cloud-based solution available. And I know that's something that RingCentral and we really pride ourselves upon, the amount of work we put into security. The bottom banner there are some of the different compliances and certifications that we have gone through. If you want information on that and you talk to Susan and Stu, we actually can set some links out as well to you. That will give you those different compliances and certifications instantly without having to wait. That will show you what type of testing we went through. With, you know, it could be with HIPAA or with a high trust, things of that nature. We can get you that information. I know with what's been going on in the news in the last 6 months or so, a lot of companies have a lot of concern over data security. This is just for peace of mind that you're very much getting a very, very secure solution. Well, the last couple slides here, I just want to touch on before I throw it back over to Stu. You know, I mentioned before that a lot of companies have had to move quickly now into this new normal and this new solution. I gave you my example of how I kind of experienced that myself. And one of the things that RingCentral wants to make sure that there are certain businesses and certain things that are helping the community that we don't skip a beat. So, you know, I want to make this known. I know for myself, I pride myself on working for a company that's very community oriented, that RingCentral is doing their part when it comes to offers right now for schools, community college, healthcare providers, and also with nonprofits as well. That we have this discount, and actually this discount is always there for our nonprofit organizations who want to mobilize and you know, continue to work for their communities and can't do it anymore within brick and mortar or an old office space, and now have to move to more of a mobile work solution. So those are out there. If you, again, more information when it comes to sales and pricing and things like that, that's the discussion that you're going to want to have with Sue and Stu at BMT for that. And again, we would be more than happy as well to get on and do some more demos with an engineer. If there's any of these solutions that we really touched on today that you want to see live in action, we can set something up for you as well. Hey, Stu, I have one more question before I pass it back, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we can do this one again. We can do one more $50 gift card. For the first person to put this in the chat pod, who are you going to contact to have further discussions about UCAS cloud-based solution? to get more information.
All right, Anthony did get it.
Anthony.
And he said BMT, of course, and that's the absolute right answer. We usually don't give the same person two gift cards, but since Barbara did get that $100 one before, we can send you a $100 gift card instead of the 50. Anthony, great answer.
There you go. Thanks, Anthony. And thanks everyone for taking a little bit of time. I know that was a lot of information to squeeze in there for 30 minutes. I really hope I just gave you a high level overview of some of the benefits of the cloud and the ease of that transition. And Stu, I'll throw it back over to you if you have any closing words or any questions that we need answered as well.
Yeah, I know Mike had put out that he wanted to answer some questions from Alyssa.
Yeah, you know what? I was having a hard time getting into the chat, typing into the chat. So I'm going to try and get those answers to her after.
Okay, great. Great. But yes, Kathy had asked in the question and answer section whether or not they support desk phones. You know, are you stuck with the app on the computer or not? And we even though we're technology oriented, all of our staff like to have a phone that they can grab and answer the call. So we did replace our phones at BMT. RingCentral had great pricing, better than we could pick up this same equipment through you know, our distributors. So that was also a big win for us there. So yes, you can coordinate or have the service ring on a desk phone. If it doesn't answer there in say 30 seconds, you can then have it forward to the cell phone app, or you can have it ring at the same time. So there's lots of different ways that you can actually also have the desk phone and any remote app work together. Yeah, exactly. Some people still like to use that old-fashioned phone, even as technology providers. And yeah, I just want to mention again that that's how we primarily went over to RingCentral to replace our phone system. It was a VoIP system. We were using a Samsung technology. We could take our phones home, but that left the Samsung PBX still at the office and still subject to, well, what if the internet connection goes down or the office is without power for an extended period of time. Doesn't do any good if your phones are remote, but the device that they expect to connect to is down. By going to RingCentral, they're a completely cloud-based solution. So we know as long as we can get in connection to the internet, we can answer the calls of our staff. And we can do so wherever, on the desk phone that's at the office, on a laptop, on the cell phone app. So it's been great. And they also have all the other, you know, you may have gone to Zoom for video conferencing. We're doing it right here. RingCentral has licensed Zoom technology. As you can see, it looks very familiar. And also they have the messaging that you may be using other solutions for. So they've got it all wrapped up in one package. So for the cost, and the last thing I wanted to mention was we wound up saving money. We had a very expensive PRI line that was driving the phone system at the office. We were able to move RingCentral and save money. So it was just a win-win for us. I think you know, it's not always the case, but it could certainly be the case for you as well. So we're happy to help anybody evaluate this further. Please get in touch with us.
Great. All right, Stu, thanks. Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Yep. Take care.